All right, bookworms, I'm back, and we are going to put some of the detail into our weekly Whimsy cover. So I've got my colored pencils here, and I'm mainly, I think, probably going to use brown and black through this to just give it more shadow. But look how nice, now that we've got the paint on here, you can just sort of put the detail in. I'm just doing really light circles, and you can darken up some of the areas just to make it a little more defined. How nice that works. So I mainly use the brown. I might use a little bit of black. We can really see how that makes everything start to pop a little better. I sort of like the texture it gives too. Now, I did recently just get some blender pencils. So let's see. I have a blender. Let's see. It says it's colorless. I have actually not tried this yet. And then I have this blender marker. And it's for the Prismacolor pencils. So let's see. Ooh, yeah. So if you got the... Now... This was a set, so this would be a little more expensive since it's Prismacolor. I did see at Michael's they had, actually, I did see, I say that. I bought it actually. Oh, except I don't have it in here. Well, I don't know where I put it. So, that being said, the Michael's has their brand, their Artist Loft, and I have one of these that I bought. And now I don't know what I did with it. That's a blender marker as well. For colored pencils, because I've been really into colored pencils recently, so I wanted to try some of the extras. But look how nice that, I don't know, hopefully you guys can see. I'll pull it up here just in a second. You probably can't, because I wanted you to be able to see the whole thing while I did this. So and this side has the big chisel. Let me pull it up. It blends, it looks more like paint. Let's see if you guys can see it. So where the brown is, so that's colored pencil right along his arm there and under the sleeve and stuff, and it blends. So that's pretty cool. I have not tried, like I said, this blender pencil, so I haven't even sharpened it yet. You can see I just recently got those things. And then his face, that's where we really want to be careful about making sure we got a good good detail around his face without messing it up. So we'll darken his eyebrows there and his eyes. Let me pull this up again so you can see what I've done before I blend. I just sort of circled around his eye, outlined his face, and then I'm going to blend this. So it's a little softer. And you can sort of manipulate where it moves too with this too. Now you do not need, so the first time I did this, I did not use my blender tool and it still looked really cool. So you don't need this part, but it does make it look cool, I think. And then I'm going to just grab a Sharpie. And I'm just going to dot his pupil in there. Like that. That might be too much. It looks a little crazy. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Not a fan. Okay, hold on. That looks wild. It's too much. It's too much. I'm going to grab my white paint marker and cover that. And then use a color pencil. So I've got my white paint marker. Let's cover that Sharpie up. It's like too dark for sure. Okay. All right, so let me let that dry and then we will resume. Let me darken this area. And I probably won't blend a lot of this because I like how it has like a fabric texture to it. Okay. Let's see if I can get his eye a little better now. Need to darken. I might need to actually just paint that because I feel like that is, I don't know. I'm not really sure what to expect. Eyes are so hard. Put a little more white on there again. And then we'll go back and I might use some paint to do that. Okay. And then I've got some dark green. I'm just going sort of over those same areas I put the brown in, just to blend it out further. And then for the bushes and stuff, I'm going to do some of the black, especially down around the bottom, to deepen up. See how that starts to create the, deepens up the, underneath the bushes there. I'm creating the texture from the arrows back here. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of darkness. Let's probably do the green actually, down in here. And see how you can blend the colored pencils with the colored pencil. And then I'm gonna grab my blender again, or you can use a white colored pencil or another color. Just sort of that smoothed out a little more. Okay. Let's get this little greener in here. Let's see. I'm going to grab a really thin brown marker, paint marker I have. Let's see if I can get this eyeball looking better because it still looks weird. Yes, there we go. I just had it too big. I'm going to show you guys these markers here in a second because I plan on using them probably quite a bit after. Since I've got them, I love them on this canvas. And you can get such good detail with it. That's better. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it a little better now. Their face is much better there. Okay. I'm going to use the pen again for between his fingers to deepen that up. And I'm just dotting it. It's just a dark brown. Just don't want it super dark is the only thing. There we go. I feel like that added a lot better detail there. Okay, so add some detail back into this. Sharpen this pencil. So I'm using my white to blend some of this so it's not quite so dark right in there. Okay. Add some red to this. And then I want to do the castle in the background. So I don't really have, I'm going to just use a really light touch of my black. I don't have a gray in my set I have here. So I'm just putting some extra lines in there, and then probably gonna shade some of this a little bit, and then hopefully be able to blend it out nicely. Yep, there we go. You should be able to do this with like a white colored pencil too. Alright, I'm going to grab my green again. I'm going to grab my lighter green this time actually. And I'm going to add some details to these bushes that we've got in the background there. All right, I think that's pretty good for what I'm wanting. What do you guys think? So you could keep going with this for so long, really. I feel like it could just go on forever. So it depends on where you want to stop, how much detail you want to put in here. All of that. So you can see I can just keep going and putting more and more detail in. So, but I'm pretty happy with this. And then the only other thing, as far as this goes, that I would maybe like recommend is doing like a Mod Podge over top or something to seal it. Same thing with like your bookmarks and the other ones that we'll be doing, especially the bookmark. I was thinking the other day how that could transfer to your book pages if you don't seal it. So that would be something to consider if you want to do like some type of sealant. But there we are. There is our weekly Whimsy colored, and then I will show you guys how to do the next piece and how to put that in, and we'll go from there. All right, I'll see you guys soon.